So, a while back, I did bring up the fact that I love the aspect of kicking your feet about an anime, right? I love the aspect of it making you smile, making you happy, those things. I love that. That is my biggest thing. I'm gonna be honest, I do stay away from things that will have a tendency of making you sad just because I don't like feeling that way. And I know there's a lot of good stuff out there, but I tend to stay away from it. So, for the most part, though, I was thinking, okay, what is the best, right, in terms of an anime or a romance anime? What are the best consistent scenes that you actually see in most romance animes? Now, people will talk about a lot of things, right? I think the big thing that people talk about is like when you go see the fireworks, right? A lot of romance animes hit that whole thing where you go see the fireworks with your significant other or with your crush or whatever, right? Whatever you want to call it. One that I always liked and one that I've thought was amazing, like always, is the aspect of the significant other, right? Male or female, whoever it is, getting sick and then the other takes care of them. I think that is probably my favorite part of a variety of romance animes, like a large variety of them. But I felt like I needed to talk about maybe a small number of them. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to yap about 15 different sick scenes from various romance animes. I thought, hey, let's talk about 3 that comes to mind for me personally when I think about romance animes. And one of those is actually my favorite romance anime of all time. And that would actually be Komi Can't Communicate. Now, I don't know if I've actually brought that up in any videos, but yes, that is hands down my favorite romance anime of all time. Now, I don't know if that's a hot take for people, but for me personally, the anime, the manga, that was my favorite romance anime. And this sick scene was the first thing that popped into my mind when I was thinking about the idea of basically the significant other getting sick, having an illness or falling ill. Komi Can't Communicate and Tadano is definitely one of them. Now, I will say this, you probably can assume that I really like Komi Can't Communicate because my profile picture on the YouTube channel is literally Tadano. But with that said, I want to talk about this 16 and what makes it so great, right? For starters, we all know how it's going to go. High fever, all that stuff. And Tadano, the guy, is actually the sick one in this, and frankly I actually like it a lot more when the guy is the sick one and the girl is the one that is essentially helping him back to good health, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a little cuter, but honestly I'll take either one, is fine. I think they both come out pretty cute. Now, with that said, with Tadano being sick, he's like laying in his bed and he tries to call up Najimi, right? Which is basically his best friend, right? At that moment, it's essentially his best friend. Tries to call him up, says like, "Oh yeah, I need help, blah blah blah. Like I need help, I'm sick, this and that." And then he stops for a second. He's like, "Hey, you gonna respond to me? Like, what's going on?" And then obviously he responds, and it's not Najimi. Like it is Komi. Now, with that said, my bad if I pronounce his name wrong. It's been a while, but essentially Komi answers, and she answers in her way, which is always like very short breaths, right? Because she doesn't really communicate, aka Komi Can't Communicate, but she answers in short breaths, and Tadano's like, no, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you, like I must have rang the wrong number, I'm sorry, blah blah blah, right? So then he eventually hangs up thinking, oh, like, no worries. And what's so great about this is he's thinking Komi's not going to show up. Like, she's not going to show up. Like, he didn't mean to even call her in the first place, whatever. But eventually she does show up. And holy crap, is it an absolute adorable scene, right? She full on is like, I'm going to help you get out of this, right? I'm going to help you not feel so sick. She like cooks him soup and stuff like that. And they even have a moment where like she tries to feed him the soup. And oh my goodness, that was adorable, right? Because it seems so like casual initially. Like, she was so into the idea of like, oh, I have to take care of him, I have to make sure he's okay, that she didn't think about it being embarrassing that she was gonna try to feed him, right? She didn't think about it at all. All she was thinking about was like, oh, I want to make sure that he's good, make sure he's okay, make sure he's, not like, freaking dying, right? So obviously that moment was super cute. On top of that, we have a moment where she basically tries to hold his hand, right, while he's sleeping, while he's out cold, but that gets interrupted by Najimi, where he kind of busts in. He's like, oh, I'm here, because obviously that's a good friend of him, good friend of Tadano's, and we can assume, called Najimi right after the accidental call with Komi. But Komi throughout this time did so much, right? Cooked him like food, all that stuff, and it felt like such an adorable scene, like from the her trying to feed him, and also her trying to hold his hand while he was sleeping, and it was just an adorable scene, like genuinely cute and adorable. And that's why I love Komi Can't Communicate so much. It's because of how adorable some of those scenes are, how Chad-like Tadano is. And this video is not about Komi Can't Communicate, like I'm not going to go that deep into detail there. But yeah, I mean, a big reason why I love that anime so much is because of those things, and is because of how cute they are. And I feel like this scene of Tadano being sick sums up the cuteness, like, all together, beautifully wrapped into, like, that 5-6 minutes of whatever whatever the sick part of the anime is, right? Like, that's what eventually happened, or essentially happened, within this part of the anime. But obviously there are other sick moments, right? Sick based, ill based moments revolving around other animes, and that's exactly what we're going to get into the next anime. And really the next anime that came to mind for me was the Horimiya, which I felt like this was a really good one that had to be talked about, right? There was an episode where Hori essentially gets sick, and Miyamura essentially comes to her house and basically tries to help her, bring some stuff, hopes that, tries to get her to feel a little better. And then you have these really, really sentimental and good moments between the two of them, right? One of them is essentially her not wanting him to leave, right? Her not wanting him to leave and like, oh, don't leave, whatever. And he brings up the fact that, like, he's not going anywhere, right? Like, he's not going anywhere. I got you. I don't want you to go. And you have a moment too where she's like, where are you going? Like, where are you going? And he admits and tells her, like, I feel like you're not saying, where are you going? But you're more like saying, I want you to stay. Or like, I don't want you to leave. And this was such a heartfelt and very, 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 very amazing moment, because Hori has always seemed like a person that was very independent, a person that was just always on her own. Like, she did her own business, right? She took care of her little brother. She did this, she did that. She seemed like an adult, like a grown adult. So sometimes when you get that moment where she's like really, really, really in need of somebody, really, really in need of someone like Miyamura, in this moment, it made that moment so much better, with her being sick and telling him, like, where are you going? Like, I don't want you to leave. Like, don't leave me. Like, I don't want you to go. And Miyamura straight up says, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm gonna be here until you get sick of me. Like, until you tell me that you're over it. Like, you don't want anything to do with me. I'm not going anywhere. And that right there was like, damn, dude, like, that is absolutely amazing, right? Goated response, amazing. And we could have ended it just like that. And me personally, I would have been like, yeah, that was a really good, sick scene. Like, literally, like, ill scene, like ill. But yeah, like, that would have been a really good scene, or really good section of the anime. And frankly, I would have been okay with that. But it got even better when he straight up admits that he's in love with her. And he's like, yeah, I've been in love with you for a while, blah, blah, blah. And you can kind of put it one or two ways, where he's like, he kind of was telling this to her when he assumed she was sleeping or whatever. You can make that assumption, whatever. But we all know what this was all about. This was something that he was going to admit no matter what. He was going to bring up no matter what. And for me, it was such a great scene because he does it in a way where he's like, yeah, like, I'm in love with you, Hori. Like, it's that simple. And then he leaves because he's gonna go to class, obviously. So he heads off, and she wakes up like she's in a shock, right? She's in an absolute shock, and she even admits that. She's like, oh, that just shocked my system. Like, what just happened? Like, why would he say that to me when I'm like this? And frankly, when you put it into perspective, isn't that the best time to say it, right? The best time to say it is when they are at their worst. When they're sick, when they're tired, when they're all these things, when they're in a bad spot, and you show that you care for them. The best way to basically, the best time to admit it might just be then, right? So it was pretty good when he admitted that to her. I thought that was absolutely adorable. I thought it was peak when I watched it the first time around, and I still think it's peak to this day. It's just different, right? It's different than the Komi one, right? It's so much different because this has a genuine confession in it, and it has a lot more like sentimental and like emotional based moments in it, with her having that like want for him to stay and not leave, and she kind of has like issues with like almost like abandonment, right? Which, at least maybe that's a little drastic to say, but to a certain extent, like, that is why she was saying the things that she said, was like the whole abandonment thing. But frankly, these two, Komi and Hori separately, are two absolutely amazing, sick, like actual ill-based scenes that are flat out amazing. Like, they are amazing, and they are totally different than each other. And that also includes the next one we're going to talk about, and the final one we're going to talk about. So the final one I wanted to talk about, right, the next one that I wanted to talk about was from My Dress Up Darling. Now, the main reason why I wanted to talk about it, because I felt like it was a more of a lighthearted one, like a lot more lighthearted. Like the Komi one, obviously super lighthearted in its own way. But I just felt like with the Komi one, it was cute because of who the character of Komi was, and Tadano and stuff like that. The Hori one was a lot deeper, right? It's a lot more like really take that next step. But this Marin one is very lighthearted, like very cute, very adorable. I loved it a lot. It felt like it was like a little bit of a side story, but it was just cute and heartwarming, where Gojo shows up. He kind of skips out on school, right? She's like, opens the doors like, oh, is it already like school already over, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, like, no, not even close, not even noon yet. And they kind of have that little back and forth, and Gojo basically does his absolute best to essentially take care of her, treat her as well as he possibly can. He makes her food, and honestly, it is pretty adorable when she's like starts crying. She's like I thought I was gonna die, and oh my goodness, blah blah blah. It's very Marin. It's very, very Marin, right? Like, I feel like it suited her personality perfectly, the way this entire 16 was. And and it's honestly just funny. Like, it's funny, it's enjoyable, it's cute, it's all the above. It's all those things. Very, very laid back. And yeah, I mean, I think overall it's really, really good. And it's also a really, really good change of pace, right, from the typical stuff that we were getting in My Dress Up Darling. And what makes it even more amazing is, like, throughout this entire like scene of her being sick, she's like leaning on Gojo, being carried around by Gojo. She is being babied to the utmost degree. And don't get me wrong, I think she deserves it. I think it's awesome. but it's perfect for their characters. It's honestly perfect, right? Just having her like chilling in the bed and that was about it would not have been enough, right? Watching him carry her around, she's like sleeping on him while he's doing laundry, he's cooking for her, you know, feeding her, she's crying, she's like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna die, it hurts so bad when I eat, whatever. It's absolutely freaking adorable and just overall feels so like themselves, and they almost feel like a married couple to an extent. But yeah, I mean, it feels so much like them, like their personalities and all that stuff. It meshes together really well. And then eventually, like, she wakes up and she's like, oh, I feel so much better, right? Blah blah blah. And it's a pretty good, a pretty damn solid scene. And I think overall, these all three of these scenes have a special place in my heart. But honestly, it just makes me realize that being sick in a romance anime might just be the best thing for you, might just be actually the greatest experience ever. Now, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, show some love however you can. I really do appreciate all the love and support. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.